Okay, this is where we left off, and in this episode we're going to start painting, and I think the best thing is to, well, let's create some wine. Okay, what we need to do is do a little bit of cleanup. I want to keep a lot of this, but I'm going to turn off the glass, turn on my wine. This is what we're going to paint, and this is the nice thing about using these masks or templates, is that I'm going to paint in this area. Everything else is kind of out of the way. I don't have to worry about, especially when I want to keep crisp lines, I don't have to worry about, painting outside the line. I don't know if your teacher ever got on you for that, but, well, mine never did. But anyways, that's what we're going to do, is paint. And I'm going to do the body first, and now I can explain what these layers are that I added in. And these are the breakdowns of how I'm going to paint and what should be on the bottom. For example, main color. So I know that that's going to be my main color, and I already have the blending mode for that layer set up, and I'll explain as we go up. So since this is going to be our first one, there'll be a lot more explanation going on. Now I have the base, and I'm going to turn the base off. Also turn the base off on the one above it. But I'm going to click on it, click with the control key down, and that causes it to create a selection, and that's what I'm going to paint inside of that selection. So now I have my color, and I have to decide, well, what color should it be? Well, this is like a blood wine, so it should be red. So I'm going to click on here, and I'm going to just pick a nice bright red. And let's see, we can adjust it all we want after this. I just want to get close. Okay, so there it is. Doesn't look much like wine right now, much less look like blood. Okay, so now I need a dark center. So with this still selected, I'm going to shrink this in like about 60. I think it's 60. Let's see. That may not be enough. Let's hit Control Z to get it to go back, and let's try 90. That's a little better. Okay, and now I'm going to, add in some darker red here, like that. Now I'm going to hit Control D, and I'm going to do a Control click on our base again, just so that I can get that selected back. And while I have this still as my active layer, come up to Filter, and we're going to do a Gaussian blur on it, and we are, by gosh, blurred a lot. And after a certain point, it stops blurring. And I think that might be it right there. That's about the best we're going to get. And it is already on darken, so that's good. Now with this still selected, I'm going to grab my blending brush, bring it up in size, and we're going to just paint this right off the edge. Like that. Now I want to pull the sides up a little bit like this, and the reason for that is because this is a bowl. It doesn't look right if this was all the same width here. It has to feel kind of like, this is this part of the bowl is wider, so then this edge here should be wider. Does that make sense? And I think that should do it. We might have some, move this out of the way. He's always in the way. Then bring this down, and I think I want just kind of a little bit of a shadow right down here, but I'm going to blur it a bit. And just kind of, it's not a real shadow, it's almost like a reflection. Okay, next thing is we have the light color, and this guy is set to hard light, and I just want it on the edges. And then blend it right into the wine. I don't want it to be too bright because we're going to have glass over it, and the glass itself will also have some reflections and stuff. This is just to feel more like it's the liquid inside the glass. If I can get it the way I want it, I'm just kind of putting it on and then painting it off, and I don't like some of the edges that I'm getting there, so that's why I'm doing that. Okay. So far so good. Okay, now we're going to have some glows, and this is like, you know, imagine if you had windows or something and they're kind of getting refracted through here. So I'm going to go with a real bright red on this, and it's already set to glow for me. Okay, and now let's see, I want kind of a big one right here, and I want some nice crisp edges, at least at the top, the brightest part. And then I'm going to pull this as much straight down as I can. And I don't have to worry about it not being straight or anything, because actually in real life it wouldn't be. And then just have it kind of fade out down here at the bottom. And then we're going to do some others here. Like, and one here, and we'll do a little small one right there. And then I'll pull it down this way. It's almost like it wants to go towards the center of the bowl. Okay, we'll pull out, see how that's looking. I like it so far. I think that will work fine. So let's go ahead and go up to the top. And this is going to be more of trying to blend. We'll have like, let's just put it in like that. And then I'm going to pull it down. Okay. And then we need some reflection along the edge here, some edge lighting, I guess you'd call it. And this is what I'm going to do. With the selection, bring this down, I'm going to shrink this selection in just, well, definitely not 90, probably about 4 pixels. And then I can come in, pull this guy back up here, and I want to keep that red. And I'm just gonna, I need red. Let me clear that. Okay. And this would be like just kind of an edging to it. And it doesn't need to be perfect because it's liquid, and it's not going to have a perfect reflection. But I need then a separation between this and what will be at the top here. And then I'm going to add a little bit of white right along here, just as a, and mix it right into that red. Okay, let's turn this off, and just kind of have to use your imagination a little bit to see, to imagine that this is, you know, is liquid, and it's, you know, when we put the top on, it'll help. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to now close this, and this is the top. Right there. Okay, so the first thing is we need our main color, and I really should have kept that, did both of them at the same time. That would have made the color consistent, but I think I can get away with this. I'm going to control click on the base so that I now have a selection, and I'm going to drop in our color. Now what I'm going to do, because we have to have a highlight, and the highlight, I'm going to kind of go into a bit of a blue, like it's reflecting from, maybe from a window or something, you know. Make this really big, and then just kind of place it on top of this nice shiny surface. And I want the brighter part to be down here, but I did. This is okay. What's happening right there, that's actually what I want. And so I don't want to obliterate too much of it. I like having it show up on the edge, the color coming underneath the edge there. Okay, and then we can go kind of like this, and then we're going to have some darker colors, and I'm just going to grab something right out of here, bring this down, and we'll just add in, you know, some, like it's a reflection off of something. We don't know what it is yet, and we may never know what it's reflecting, because it could be behind the camera or somewhere in the room that we can't see. Okay, and to add some stuff there. Okay, now the fun part, we're going to do the ring, and what I'm going to do with the ring, and that ring is just kind of this white part around here. I'm going to expand our selection by 3, and then I'm going to fill this in with white. You probably think I'm crazy. We're going to shrink it down now. Since we went 4, I'm going to shrink it down like about 6, and then delete. Okay, and this is already an add glow. We've already made all of our folders and everything so that the blending mode flows through. Okay, and of course that can't be left the way it is, because that just doesn't look right. And so I'm going to filter it, or I'm going to blur it. Like that. And I'm going to pull it down just a bit. Not much, like that. Okay, now if I go out, that you might start to get a feel for it. And I think that's where we're going to leave it. Well, let me do one thing though, before we go into our final notes. I want to darken the main, there we go. That just feels better. Have it a little bit darker. Now it feels a little bit more like a blood wine. Okay. So this is, now we can say that the wine portion of the glass is complete, and we can move on to breaking down the glass and start to paint it in.